Let me tell you something right off the bat. If you've never seen a woman try to wage war with a clipboard and a pink suit, you haven't truly lived. I swear, she looked like she was about to write a citation for the sunrise. There she was, blocking the dirt road out to my ranch, arm waving, hair helmet tight, screaming, "You can't park that here. This is HOA property," at the top of her lungs. And I'm just leaning against my dusty old Chevy, watching her put on a show over a piece of gravel I've owned since Nixon was president. You ever get the feeling you're about to watch someone light themselves on fire just to make a point? Yeah, that's where we're starting. So I said, all calm, "Ma'am, this road goes straight to my ranch. I built that fence myself." She shoots back, all attitude, "Don't you ma'am me. I'm the president of this association, and you're breaking our parking code." And right on cue, here come the red and blue lights bouncing over the fields, police cruiser rolling up slow. Wouldn't you know, Karen here had actually called the cops over my pickup on my dirt. Now, this wasn't the first time someone tried to run me off my own land, but I'll tell you, it never gets old. The cop steps out, looking like he's already regretting being born. Karen, clipboard pointed like a sword, yells, "Officer, arrest him. He's trespassing." The cop glances at me. "Sir, is this your property?" I give him a half smile, pull a folded deed from my jacket like it's a poker hand I can't lose. "Every inch," I say, holding it out. "Been in the family since '72. Karen's face just stops, like she lagged out for a second. Then she's right back at it, shrieking, "That can't be. This whole area is under HOA regulation." The cop looks at the paper, then at me, says here, "Your property line starts right where you're standing." And he raises an eyebrow at her, which, if you know small-town deputies, is basically a slap in the face. Karen won't budge, pointing at my truck again. "That thing is an eyesore. We don't allow pickups on our streets." I just laugh. Good thing it's not your street. She's practically vibrating, but she has no idea how far out of her league she is. The cop starts writing in his notepad. Busy work, really. Karen storms closer, gravel crunching under her heels. "You people think you can do anything you want out here." I just blinked, "You people," and she freezes for a half second, realizes how that sounded, but keeps plowing forward. "You heard me. I run this place. We have rules." The officer just sighs. "Ma'am, this man's land is outside the HOA boundary. You can't enforce anything here." But she's not done, not by a long shot. She spins around, waving her clipboard under his nose. "You don't understand. This whole area will soon be HOA. I already filed the expansion papers." I squint at her. "You filed what?" She grins like a fox who just got into the henhouse. "Once it's approved, everything from here to the river will belong to us, and your ranch will follow my rules." For a second, it's so quiet you can hear the wind skitter through the weeds. Then I say, "Interesting, because I already filed something too. Petition to block that expansion. County sheriff signed off on it. Now it's her turn to freeze." "You can't do that," she sputters. "Oh, I can. And it's already in motion." The officer glances at me. "You know the sheriff?" I grin. "Know him. He's my son." And right then, I couldn't have staged it better. His radio crackles, deep voice comes through. "Unit 14, this is Sheriff Walker. I heard you got a situation out by my dad's ranch." Karen goes pale. The deputy nearly drops his pen. I just cross my arms, nodding at the radio. Guess that clears things up. Karen's whole game starts falling apart. "You tricked me," she wails. I shake my head. "No, Karen, you did this to yourself." She's still swinging that clipboard like a shield, voice shaking. "This is harassment. You can't just call in your son for favors." The cop is officially out of patience. "Ma'am, maybe calm down. The sheriff's on his way." I go back to leaning on my truck, feeling the tide turn. "Nobody called him," I say. "He just checks in when there's trouble near my land." You could see the realization sinking in. No HOA backup, no neighbors, just empty fields and a couple of county boys who'd seen this show before. 5 minutes later, another cruiser tears down the dirt, dust in its wake. Sheriff Walker, my boy all grown, straight back, still wearing that stubborn look I taught him, steps out, hat low. "Afternoon. Got a report of trespassing." Karen pounces like a cornered cat. "Yes." That man parked illegally threatened me. My son holds up his hand. Ma'am, this is private property. My father owns this land. You're the trespasser. She's stammering now. But I was told, HOA, jurisdiction. He flips open a folder. Your HOA boundary ends 3 miles east. We checked last month. This is not your turf. She's barely holding it together, mumbling about paperwork. My son's eyes narrow. The paperwork you forged? Now she's stone still. He steps closer, tone sharp. We've had reports of fake HOA notices and harassment. You match the description. Karen glances around like she's about to bolt, but the deputy blocks her path, casual but ready. You should have left me alone, Karen, I say, soft but firm. Her voice cracks. I was just trying to keep order. My son shakes his head. Order doesn't come from threats. Ma'am, you're being detained for trespassing and filing false claims. That clipboard of hers hits the dirt, thunk, and she looks at it like it betrayed her. The deputy moves to cuff her, and she tries to yank her arm away. You can't arrest me. I'm the HOA president. My son deadpants. You were. But now you're under arrest for impersonation and fraud. That's not leadership. That's a crime. She looks around, desperate for rescue. But it's just her, the prairie, and the dust. She tries blaming me, screeching, he's behind this. He tricked the county. My son is steady as a rock. Ma'am, this land's been in our family since before your HOA was even an idea. My dad fought for it after the fire 20 years ago. And something finally clicks in her eyes, the kind of realization that only comes when you've picked a fight with someone who's weathered far bigger storms than you could ever bring. Still, she tries to save face. Maybe I made a mistake, but you can't ruin my reputation. I walk right up to her, meeting her eyes. Karen, you did that yourself when you started believing power meant ownership. As the deputy leads her off, she throws one last shot over her shoulder. This isn't over. I'll talk to the county board. Get this whole ranch shut down. I just smile, nodding to the sheriff. She might want to check her mail first. Her eyebrows go up. What? I nod at the stack of papers my son's holding. You're not the only one who knows how to file documents. That injunction's already in. With video. Now she's panicked. You filmed me. I nod. Every time you cross that fence. The blood drains from her face. Sheriff Walker slides her into the cruiser, shuts the door with a solid thud. The lights cast red and blue across the whole world, her silhouette frozen behind the glass. My son comes over, shaking his head, proud but exhausted. You good, Dad? I nod, glancing down at her clipboard, half buried now. Didn't expect to get evicted from my own ranch today. He grins. Some folks just can't stand not being in charge. The sun's setting now, lighting the field gold. She'll be back, I say, half joking. Women like her don't give up easy. He shrugs, maybe, but she won't get far. We've got her for impersonation, trespassing, and the county's looking at her HOA license now. I raise an eyebrow. License? He nods. Yeah, she registered the HOA as a private corporation. Tried to turn the whole community into her own business. I just let out a long whistle. So that's what all this was about. He shrugs. Control. Some people chase it so hard they forget why they started. His deputy's radio crackles. Sheriff, county's confirming fraud charges. Want her booked downtown? He clicks his mic. Affirmative. She's done here. The cruiser pulls away, dust curling behind. I watch it go, feeling the weight lift, then spot something shiny near the fence. I walk over. It's a keychain shaped like a badge. Engraved, HA Enforcement Division. I flip it over. Never seen anything like it. My son looks at it, frowns. That's weird. HOA doesn't have an enforcement division. And a cold shiver runs up my spine. You think she was working alone? He studies the badge, shakes his head. I don't think so, Dad. The last light slips away, painting everything in long, strange shadows. My son bags the keychain, tucks it away. I'll run it through the database tonight, he says, but his voice is different now. A little less sure, a little more wary. If this connects to something bigger, we might be looking at more than one Karen. I laugh, but it comes out hollow. More than one? God help us. He just watches the horizon. Dad, that badge, It's got a serial number. HOA doesn't use those. Somebody made it for her, like a fake agency badge. I feel a new kind of unease. So, someone sent her? He nods. Could be. There's been a wave of fake HOAs targeting landowners lately, especially the older folks with big properties. Force them to sell or play along. You almost got caught, Dad. I look out at the fields, suddenly feeling just how close I came. Guess they picked the wrong old man. He grins. They always do. Go inside. I'll have a patrol swing by tonight. I start toward the porch, but then something's off. My porch light's on, motion activated, but I'm not close enough to trigger it. I glance at my son. You turn that on? He shakes his head. All business now. No. Why? Before I can answer, a shadow moves inside the house. Just a flicker, but enough to freeze my blood. Someone's in the house. My son goes full cop, hand on his holster, moving slow, quiet into the dark. Then a voice calls out, cold, too familiar. Sheriff Walker. Took you long enough. It's not Karen. It's that man who came last month, pretending to be a county inspector, and he's not alone. My son opens the door, flashlight cutting the shadows, and suddenly it's chaos. Footsteps on old boards. Sheriff's Department. Step out where I can see you, he yells. The man answers, all sneer. You really shouldn't have messed with the HOA expansion, Sheriff. You and your old man just made things complicated. I step forward, voice low. You broke into my home. That was your mistake. He laughs. This land's worth millions. You think a deed and a badge will stop us? We own this county. My son's voice is razor sharp. No, you used to. There's a click, safety off. But before anything else happens, 2 more deputies burst through the back, flashlights blinding. The men freeze. One tries for the window, but there's nowhere to run. Seconds later, they're cuffed, flat on the floor. Sheriff's radio. Copy that. Suspects detained. My son glances at me. They weren't here to scare you, Dad. They were after the original deed. I walk in, see my old folder on the table, papers rifled but all there. Lucky I made copies, I say. He laughs, tension breaking for a second. One of the men spits. You can't stop this. We're everywhere. Build by control. You'll lose it all. My son crouches, cool as ever. Then I'll be here every time one of you crosses that fence. Outside, sirens fade, the night returning to quiet. Back on the porch, my son asks, ever think about selling? Getting out while you can. I stare at the land. I didn't fight for this country just to hand it over to folks who never earned it. He grins, pride in his eyes. Then they picked the wrong ranch. I smile, feeling the peace return. No, son, they picked the wrong family. The cruisers drive off, and I can almost see Karen's clipboard in the dirt, a monument to every petty tyrant who thought they could own a piece of someone else's life. Out here, the land doesn't just belong to us. It remembers who stood up for it. Now tell me, would you have done anything different? Or would you have stood your ground too? Drop your thoughts down below, and while you're at it, let me know, what's the wildest HOA story you've seen? Because trust me, out here, the real fight is just getting started. 32.